Hard Hitting channel. Today we got a little challenge met by Dave Reed. Dave Reed visited our club. He stayed at my house for a week and he was on the podcast, and his wife Judy's on the podcast. And we offered him a challenge in the Cold-Water Plunge challenge. 45-degree water for at least 3 minutes. Let's see how Dave handled it. So got Dave Reed here, Dave. He's going to do the water challenge. Now here's the setup, Dave. You're going to try to get through 3 minutes. I'll set the timer. It'll go off at 2, and 2 minutes is, it's going to be hard too. But then it'll play some music, and I'll tell you when 3 minutes are up. How long do you think you're going to last?
I have no idea.
I'll say about a minute. Count your ass.
Well, if you say that I'm only going to stay a minute, I'll make sure that I stay longer than that.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. You can do it, but get ready, man. So Dave's going to be getting in 44 degree water.
All the way to the shoulders down, or just?
No, you just go to your shoulders. Yeah, just go to your shoulders. 2 o'clock. Yeah. Get down in there, man. You got to get in there. No, don't go in slow, dude. This ain't. You got to go in. You got to just get in there. Just get in there. Go down. Yeah, that's as far as I'm gonna go. Yeah. How's it feel?
It's cold.
Cold. Anything you ever felt any that cold lately? Have you ever felt anything that cold lately?
Not lately. The longer I stay, the better I get used to it. So.
That's the way it works, dude. That's human nature. You can overcome it. You doing a bang up job. A lot of these pansies got in there couldn't do that. It ain't easy to get in that damn cold water.
It's strictly mental.
Yeah. Well, you're whipping it. You're gonna get 2 minutes.
I also know just how good I'll feel after I get out.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah. So that's 2 minutes, man. So we'll see. Let's go. Keep on doing it. I think you got this lick, man. It's like a piece of cake for you, dude. I don't know the thing. Dave Reed defeats the ice bath. You set a record by 4 minutes.
No. We'll see.
You can see that's the longest 3 minutes you spent in your life, ain't it? Tell me. Dude, come on, be honest, dude. I get in there every day, and I said, that's the longest 3 minutes.
You get bored? Sure.
But I'll tell you, when you get out, you ain't gonna believe how good you feel. Look at that, man. You got 3 minutes, Dave. You hit the 3 minutes. You're going longer, huh?
Well,
damn, boy, you're gonna be the damn.
Threw out the challenge of 4. So
you may be the world record holder. I forget. I think Dan or Gary. I forget which one.
Dan should be pretty good at this.
Who?
Dan should be pretty good at this.
Oh, because he likes cold. I don't remember what he did. I'll have to look it up. So, Dave, you've been out of that cold plunge for what now? An hour, at least, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, how's your body feel? Generally speaking.
Very good. Very.
You're complimenting about your legs.
The legs definitely a change. You can feel the blood flow much better, and everything. I was actually more agile, easier to get into the car. It's just a mental thing. That's all. We all can do it. It's just have to put our mind.
But mental thing tied with real physical results, though, right?
Yes, sir.
So you think the water plunge is everything I said it was, right?
I do. Yeah. And if I had one in my house, I'd do it every day.
Yeah, it would make a big difference too, buddy.
I take a cold one as it is, but it's not as cold as that.
Yeah, but yeah, the cold makes a huge difference. Okay, man, travel safe.
Thank you.
Bring in an expert for the next few minutes to talk to you about cold exposure and why it's beneficial, and he's going to have help from another PhD.
I'm Andrew Huberman, and I'm a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford School of Medicine. Today, my guest is Dr. Susanna Soberg. Dr. Susanna Soberg completed her doctoral thesis work at the Center of Inflammation and Metabolism and the Center for Physical Activity Research at the University of Copenhagen in Denmark. Her research has focused on how deliberate cold exposure and deliberate heat exposure can be used to enhance human metabolism. She is the first author
I get a lot of
of
questions about this, and I did solicit for questions for this podcast on Twitter. And one of the questions that I got was, as one becomes more cold adapted, do the benefits start to wear off? Or can people do too much cold exposure? And of course, the answer to that is yes, you can become hypothermic. But I'm sensing a different answer now, which is, if I understand correctly, the threshold is 11 minutes total per week of deliberate cold exposure, divided into 2 or 3 sessions of maybe 1 to 3 minutes, depending on how long somebody stays in. And then 57 minutes, I want to be careful not to round up to an hour, but divided into maybe 3 20-minute sessions or so, so one doesn't have to be perfect as long as you get beyond that threshold.
Exactly.
But I wonder something, which is it the case that if somebody said, I'm just going to do one 11-minute session per week, that might actually not be as beneficial as dividing it up? Because what you told us earlier is that the hormetic response depends on having that cold shock. You actually don't want to become too cold adapted. I mean, once the blood pressure response drops down, so in minute 4, 5, and 6, you're getting very cold and you're shivering, but one is not getting the autonomic stimulus that they want. I guess I could liken this to if exercise worked in a way where it was only the first few minutes of exercise that really triggered the adaptation. Of course, this is not how it works, but in fact, probably quite the opposite. But if that were the case, then it's not simply the total amount of exercise, but dividing up the sessions into little bouts where every single time it acts as a stimulus.
Yes.
That seems to be the key here.
Yes.
This is very important because having watched the landscape of this on social media, but also in books and generally, I think you're the first person to really touch on this, that the goal is not to get so cold adapted that you can sit in for the full 11 minutes in one session, where the goal isn't to be able to do an hour of very hot sauna. If you want to, I suppose people could do it for other reasons. But if the goal is to improve these health metrics, then the idea is to keep the stimulus a stimulus.
Short, exactly. Yeah.
Great. Well, this also, I think there's practical feasibility, as you pointed out, because getting into a cold shower or cold immersion or natural body water for a couple of minutes is far less, challenging to most people than finding a full morning to go, spend there. But I've never really heard it articulated that the longer sessions might not be beneficial and might actually be detrimental.
Please refer to the written descriptions if you want more detail on Cold-Water Plunge, and look up Dr. Huberman on the internet or the Iceman. Please hit subscribe.